Okay, this time what we're going to do is we're going to solve for x. Alright, so what they're going to do, they're not going to give us the radius. And so they're probably going to go ahead and give us what the surface area is, and we're going to have to find the radius. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to come over here. Okay, here's our sphere. And then you want to click surface. Then you want to come down here and click solve x. Alright, there you see it. There actually is no radius value here. And so then it gives us a surface area. So now we're going to actually stick with that same formula. Okay, let's clear this off. Alright, here we go. The formula is 4 times pi times the radius squared. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and we will set that equal to what they give us right here. Alright, I'm going to have to rewrite that. So we have 4 times pi times our radius squared. Now in this case it's going to be x squared, and we're going to say it's equal to 4 pi. Alright, now I'm going to come over here, okay, and I'm going to do this little line like this. Now I want you to think back to when you did one-step equations in 7th grade. Let's say, for instance, I had 2x. No, actually, let's not do 2x. Let's do 4x. Let's say if it was 4x equals 8. Alright, to solve that, then you're looking for basically 4 times what equals 8. So you can actually use inverse operations, and so you can divide by 4 here. And so if you do, to one side, you have to do the same thing here. So you know that 4 divided by 4 is 1, so I'll be left with 1x. So x in this case will be equal to, okay, so I'm going to do an upside down division box. 4 divides into 8 twice, so x will be equal to 2. Alright, I want you to take that same thinking. We're trying to tap into that prior knowledge. Now let's apply this over here. In this case, okay, and let's make the connect. This x really is connecting to this. They are both the unknowns. So let's solve that similarly. Alright, so here 4 was our coefficient. Here 4 is our coefficient. So if we divide it by 4 here, then we will divide by 4 here as well. So then if you notice, there's 4 and 4, so we canceled this, so let's cancel it here also. So what we're left with is pi times our radius squared, which is equal, here we're going to cancel that like we did there, is equal to pi. Now, pi represents an actual value, okay? It's just a symbol that represents the value, so we can almost treat pi just like a coefficient. Not almost, we actually can. So I'm going to do the exact same thing I did here. I'm going to divide by pi here, which is 3.14, and then divide by pi here as well. Alright, so then what happens is I can cancel this, and I can cancel this. Now when I say cancel, really what I'm saying is divide these things out. Alright, and so what will happen is anything divided by itself, is 1. So I want to go ahead and I want to put 1 right here. So I know that r squared is 1. Now, let's think of this logically. What number squared is 1? Okay, we know that it's 1. But algebraically, what we would do is take the square root of both sides. Okay, we know the square root of r squared is just r, and the square root of 1 is 1. So in this case, your radius is going to be 1. R is equal to 1. So I mouse down, and I go ahead and I put 1. Okay, and as you can see, that's correct over here. Now, so that we can work with, okay, here we go. This is a much higher value right here, this 196. But we're going to do the exact same thing. Okay, so we come over here, and we say 4 times pi. I always want to keep it in your mind that you're actually multiplying times pi, times the radius, parentheses lets me know I'm going to drop a value in here. Substitution is the correct word for it. Equals 196 pi Okay, centimeters squared. I'm going to go ahead and put my units on this time, like that. All right, just like in that last problem, if I have 4x equals 8, then you know you're going to divide by 4 on both sides. So x will be equal to 2. Okay, we're going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to divide by 4. Divide by 4. Alright, so 4 divided by 4 is 1. So what we're left with on this left side is pi times our radius squared. And again, these are basically 7th grade skills being put into high school math, because these are multi-step equations. Now, this is a two-step equation, but that skill was an 7th grade and 8th grade skill. So now we come forward. So now you have to divide 4 into 196. Now I have a really quick way of dividing, this. So if I don't want to use a calculator, what I do is I say, okay, 4 will divide into 1, no, into 19, yes. So I draw a line right here, and I put basically a T. So I say 4 will divide into 19 4 times. 4 times 4 is 16. All right. You know that 19 minus 16 is 3. So I squeeze that 3 in right here. And so basically I'm doing division. So now 4 goes into 36 9 times. You know that 9 times 4 is 36. And if you notice, there's your answer right there. So pi times r to the second power equals 49 pi centimeters squared. Alright, so now this is a coefficient, pi. So I take it and I divide by pi on both sides. Alright, so these cancel out, they leave 1. So that you can see this, I'm going to come down here. So now I have r to the second power, and I know that that's equal, here this cancels, to 49 centimeters squared. And so what I want you to think about now is, in 8th grade, you did a lot of square roots. And so now we're going to use those square roots. So now what I do is I take the square root of both sides, like so. So the square root of r squared is r. Square root of 49 is 7. And then you have your centimeters squared. So it'll just become just centimeters, like that. And there's your answer. Your radius is 7 centimeters. Alright, so I'm going to mouse down. My answer is going to be 7. Now, of course, you can pause the video at that point if you want to look and see the work that was done. Alright, and that should get you on your way.